So, welcome back. This has been a very quiet day. I've just made one trade today, and technically, the last 2 weeks or a week and a half have been really strange. I usually do around 5 to 10 trades, and I've done probably 1 to maximum 3 trades, mainly due to the main massive volatility for last week due to the vaccines and so on. And now there's just no really good trades to do and what I'm technically usually looking at. But cocoa was the only trade that I did today because it was fairly obvious where that was going and where it's going to go. So hopefully that turns out very well. The other trades that I've done or we done were based on Apple stock, which ran into major support. Same goes for Netflix, and I could have invested also in Microsoft and also in Amazon, but I didn't do that. The gold trade is also looking promising, and so is also the copper trade, which we'll get to in a moment. But we'll start looking at the US dollar index, and as you can see, we continue to fall. We still have room to the downside. We're at 36 at this point, so we could fall all the way down to these very lows, and that will of course be very positive for commodities. It will especially be very positive for gold, and if we break this level, then there will be an absolute tidal wave much lower to 90 and 80, 89 and so on. That will have an enormous effect on commodities and precious metals. So keep that in mind. But it is expected for this to turn around towards the 50. When that's going to happen, that is fairly difficult to say at this point. So just keep the US dollar index in mind when you basically trade. So but let's look at gold. No, gold, I mean oil. Black gold. So we rallied all the way to 46.17, and we haven't been here for a very long time. Before the coronavirus basically hit, we pulled back, and I think this is going to be our last hurrah for oil at this point. I mentioned 47.5 yesterday. I would be surprised if we got to that level. Usually when we see a candlestick similar to this one, now this one is more bearish than this one is, but this is a sign that sellers are coming in and pushing this price down. So the question is whether or not where we go from here. If we get a red candlestick here tomorrow, then of course we are going to test these previous highs at 43.5, and then if that breaks, then we could fall all the way down to the 50 moving average at $40. So yes, we just have to wait to see what happens tomorrow. Technical indicators are becoming flat, but the MACD is very bullish, and the RSI is it's overbought at this point. So a pullback is expected for this market. Whether or not that happens tomorrow or on Friday or Monday, that is going to be the question. But demand is not at this point. The thing that is driving this is pure speculation news that things are going back to normal, and therefore prices are getting pushed to much higher levels. So let's look at natural gas. So we have rallied above the 50 moving average. This is a very good sign. We also rallied towards the highs of this candlestick, but broke down, and now we're trading underneath those highs. So these technical indicators are looking really good. This could be a sign that we are going to at least go to 3.07 and then to these very highs. We just need to break these previous highs of this candlestick, but this is a very encouraging sign. We are trading above the 50 moving average, and this could be a sign that we are going significantly higher. The indicators here are very bullish, so trade here is to target these very highs and have a stop loss right underneath here at 2.6. So that is a trade that is possible and most likely will happen within the next few days. So if you look at copper is showing signs of weakness here. This is a very weak candle. Technical indicators are also turning around. So we entered I entered a copper trade yesterday, and it is basically the same stage as where I entered it. It gave a little bit of profit earlier today, but pulled back again, and now it's basically in the red. It's 0.0 something. It's exactly the same place where I entered. So the CCI and the stochastic are turning around. So that's a warning sign. This candlestick is a warning sign, and the RSI is basically on the edge of being overbought. So that is also a warning sign. We could be around this area for some time, then break towards 3.25, and then to these very highs at 2.21, and then hopefully towards the 50-moving average, which is the thing that I am targeting. No interest in basically buying. This is way overstretched at this current stage. You should never have gotten all the way up here. It is also pure speculations, very similar to gold. No, not gold, but oil, I mean. So let's look at gold. We fell really aggressively the last 2 trading days. We pulled back a little bit today towards 1816 and then fell again. However, we are at 1800. That is the very lows. We haven't even got close to the 200 moving average. So that should be that is a very good sign for gold, that we most likely will rally, not to these very highs at this point, maybe not, but rally towards the 1850 probably, that is around here, and hopefully towards the 50 moving average, which is around 1890. And that is also a fairly good trade, to trade from 1800 towards the nearly 1900 level. So in best case, if we break below the 200 moving average, that opens the door to 7050 and then 1700. So, but I don't think that we'll get there. The technical indicators here, for example, CCI is turning around, and we are almost on the edge of being oversold. So turn around from here would make sense, at least a little rally, and therefore we can get some profit out of this trade. So let's look at silver. We can see that we rallied a little bit and then pulled it back again, and still we are at the same area. There's nothing happening in silver. We need to break this in order to go significantly lower. And 20 is what I'm looking for. It's a very similar trade to gold. So if we get down to 20, I'll buy here, put a stop loss right underneath, and then target the 50 first, and then probably all the way to the very highs. But we're not even there yet. So I would not enter this market even with a sell or a buy at this point. It is too risky. So look at platinum. We can see that we have we've broken down, then rallied again, and this market is just all over the place. I do not like to trade platinum because it's just everywhere. It was fairly predictable when we were trading within this range here, but at this point, it's difficult to say whether or not it's a rally or it's a pullback, because we are getting higher, so it has to be a rally. We found resistance here, 969. Technical indicators for this are all over the place, so in my view, just stay away from this. If it falls towards the 50, that is a possible buy. If it falls towards the 200, that's definitely a buy here, because there's a massive amount of support underneath. To buy it here is just ridiculous, so I would not do that. So look at Pallium. We can see that we have rallied, and now this is becoming really interesting. Technical indicators are still very flat. They're not bullish whatsoever. They're just completely flat. So if we get another green candlestick here tomorrow, then this is a possible buy towards 2.4 and then to 2.5 with a stop loss around this area here, 2.273. So have a look at this. I will have a look at this tomorrow. This is a probable buy. Of course, break below this, well, we'll probably see more of the same that we have seen for the last 2 weeks. So you look at aluminium. We can see that we have broken down quite substantially today. We're down to 1.956, And at this point, we are most likely going to go significantly lower. My best guess is down to 1.9. So that is where we'll find quite a lot of support. Technical indicators for this are very bearish at this point. We need the MACD to cross the signal line, and this will just go tumbling towards the 1900. So I was thinking about shorting this, but I'll probably just wait until we get it as close to the 50 moving average as possible in order to buy in. For example, a move like this. So I prefer moves like this because the other one is just too risky because we're in an uptrend. It can turn around at any point. But a fall towards the 50, there will be massive support, and then it will go higher. And that is what I'm technically looking at this point. So nickel, we can see that we found resistance here at 16.207, broke down all the way down to 15,872, and now we're trading at 16.01110. Sorry, I think that we're going lower here. This is going to be a very similar trade to aluminium. I'll move like this from the highs towards the 50, and then there is a possible buy for this commodity. The buy or sell at this point is not worth it. It just isn't. So it is also just a wait at this point. So let's look at sugar. We can see that we continue our fall, and we found resistance around this area here, which was expected. I think it will fall a little bit more. I think we're going to 0.1440, and that will probably be a good entry toward a buy. You should see it turn around a little bit and see these technical indicators also turning around, getting the RSI a little bit lower. So this will be a very choppy trade all the way down towards the 50. If we can manage the 50, and that will be the best entry point for this. So it's not a buy, it's not a sell at this point. It's just wait until we get as low to the 50 moving average as possible. So if you look at cotton, sorry. Here, so cotton has started its decline. It is a possible sell at this point, but we are running in support around these previous highs. And I don't think there's a lot of profit to gain here. The fall towards a major support area, which is 0.7, is not that substantial. And it is most likely where we'll find major support. So if you want short profit here, then it's probably a sell, but I would not enter until we get to 0.7, and we'll also see the 50 moving average move this way, and then we can buy into this. Technical indicators for this are turning around, so we are going lower. We are making a similar move like this towards the 50, and then probably sideways or just continue up again. But a move towards 50, that is the trade that I'm looking for. So cocoa. This is the trade that I entered today, and the reason for this is because of this inverted hammer here. So this is just screaming that we are going to go lower. It is the reason why we see this pattern of a candlestick is because when we got to 2.816, a lot of sellers came in and basically pushed this price down and created this inverted hammer. So we have seen that continuation of that selling pressure all the way down to 2.686, and that was the previous highs here. So that's where we found our support. But I think this is only the beginning of everything. We're down nearly 2% at this point, 1.67, and we need the MACD to basically turn around. And when that happens, we'll head towards 2.5, and that is where we'll most likely find major support, and we'll see these indicators start turning around again. So this is going to be a very interesting trade to follow. So look at wheat. So we broke down quite significantly again today. I left the market around here yesterday. So this gives opportunity basically to buy again because we are trading above the 50 moving average. If we rally again tomorrow, if these technical indicators improve a little bit, then there's a possibility to enter for a buy again and to target 611. I think after this we are going to go more higher. We're going to go to these all-time highs, probably break that. So 637 is our target. So with a stop loss right underneath here. But we need some of these indicators to turn around, show more signs of life at this point. But this massive move to the downside, you can see what happened to the CCI. So hope you find this helpful. You're welcome to ask me if you have any questions about this analysis on my on Patreon. And good luck and thank you very much.